Doen we met video, zonder video?
Zonder video, hè, zoals gewoonlijk.
Zo.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're from. Please do mention in the comments where you are listening from. Welcome to this exciting 100th episode of Let's Talk LinkedIn, where together with my co-host Guy Strebos from Holland, we talk for about a half hour about LinkedIn. Guy, good morning.
Good morning, 100. Woo woo.
Yeah, exciting, isn't it? 100 episodes. I never realized that when we started this after our Clubhouse experience, that this would actually run for so many weeks or even years now, because with 100 episodes, we go back 3 years.
Absolutely, Mick. And it's been quite a journey from what you mentioned, Clubhouse, to LinkedIn Audio, to other platforms like Restream. But still, audio. I still believe it's a very powerful tool to connect with other people, with other professionals, and to discuss. And like we did, a long time ago, we started off mostly with our 1 hour sessions,
Yep.
or 45 minutes. But I feel within 30 minutes you can discuss all the top topics and make it speed it up a bit. So it's like that. So Kiora from New Zealand, good
Oh,
evening, Linnea, and good evening, good afternoon, Roy. Nice to have you with us again.
Roy, have a glass of whiskey on us or whatever you drink in the evening, to relax after the business time. Thanks for joining the 100th episode. If you feel like coming onto the podium, the link has been put in the comments of the event, and please do put your questions if you have them in the comments, or join us on the podium, and then we'll definitely add you to the podium. But in the meantime, I guess Guy and I will start our usual conversation, because it's not that it's because it's 100 that we have to have a completely different format, right?
Absolutely. We just continue, Mick. We just continue.
Right. So, Guy, what do you want to talk about today? What is on your list of things to speak about?
Well, you mentioned it earlier, Mick. It was your birthday. You talked about we all receive these, most of us receive these notifications about birthday. And what do we do with it? Are we still active with congratulations, or sending some extra questions out? And you noticed, I think, that the happy birthday, the congratulations messages went down in volume or in rate. So let's share your experience, Mick.
Well, I did see a substantial drop of about 60%, even more, compared to last year. As you know, I'm a man of statistics and analytics and whatever have you, so I've analyzed the numbers. So strangely enough, this year I'm going to end up also including the ones that were, from people that forgot about it or see it only a day later or 2 days later. I end up with about 200, where when I look back at last year, I was close to 600. So
I must confess, Mick, I use it less personally as well.
I mean, yeah, that I do too. I must admit, I do it less than it used to be. What I hear some people say was that they only congratulate people they actually know or that they are close to, so that if you have a network of 1,000, 2,000, even 10,000 or 16,000, doesn't really matter. You kind of like get more selective in terms of who you congratulate and who you don't congratulate. Of course, I mean, that's, it is what it is, but the statistics go on. I mean, I must share with everybody some of the other elements that I've had. So what I did is, with everybody who sent me a birthday wish, I send them a little message back. So my entire day consisted of sending people messages, and I included a video in which I asked the question. So I send out about 170, 175 outbound messages with a video. And from that, I got about 115 people who answered me, which is kind of a pretty high response rate.
But were all of those messages, videos different, Mick? Or
No,
I mean,
it was
did
one.
you
It
say
was
thank
one.
you, Guy, thank you, Roy?
It's a standard video message. I
Yeah.
had one in Dutch. I had one in English, and it's basically thanking the person for the warm wishes. And the question that I asked is, if you have a question about LinkedIn, put it in the comment or put it in the message, and I'll answer the question for you. Now, I must admit, some people actually gave me some very good questions. I also got some thumbs up on the video. So I mean,
Sure.
but that's
Sure.
also an answer. It's an acknowledgement.
But in this case, I believe such a direct message done by video is a wonderful tool to use, because it's very personal, even though it's a general message. So you don't say thank you, Roy, thank you, Linnea, thank you, Victor. But even though it's you, it's different than thank you by text.
Oh, definitely. I had considered mixing up a voice message with a video message, but I decided to go with the video message because it was more personal. But there is a silver lining on the whole thing, which is, not only did I get 115 people who responded to me, but I also got out of that actually 2 meetings. And I closed literally 1 deal, which is flabbergasting for me. But one person actually sent me a message. Oh yeah, I mean, we need to talk. And by the way, we need to have a LinkedIn training. Would you not consider doing it for us?
Why were you flabbergasted, Mick?
Well, I didn't. I mean, my message was nothing about business. It was just, thank you, and I'm grateful. And if you have a question, ask me. So it wasn't really related to doing business. It was just being friendly and give a good feeling to the person on the other side. And out of that came actually a deal, which I was like, oh no, I got a deal out of birthday wishes.
But Mick, perhaps you're too modest. I mean, you have been building up relationships for years, perhaps with those people.
True.
And so you don't have to. I had a meeting, a kind of network event yesterday, and someone mentioned mention something, and the other person could help that person with. So immediately, I'm going to give you my business card. I mean, to me, slow food always beats the system. I mean, you've done building those relationships for years, and now you send a video, and perhaps they were already in a position for asking you, and that video message was just the tipping point for now I have to go to Mick and ask him to train our sales team or whatever they ask you to do. So
possibly.
I don't be salesy, and I understand that it was a surprise, but it's the outcome of all the effort you've put into that client over the past period.
No, that is definitely true. Maybe a last statistic that I want to add.
And perhaps one thing to add, because people tend to look at engagement and reach and whatever numbers you could think of, but it's indeed the people that see your comments, that see your posts come by, and they don't respond always, but they will see it. So again, the consistency of being active and being visible for your prospects, clients, whatever, pays off.
No, it definitely does. I mean, but it was a major it was a bit of a yeah, it was a major surprise to me because that was not the intent of getting back to people as the conversation progressed. But it's a nice one, and it kind of like says why I should really do this, and it made me think maybe I should do more again of those birthday wishes of people that I don't know as well, because that actually brings the relationship closer to me. I want to add one more statistic. My birthday wishes on Facebook were exactly the same number as last year. So on LinkedIn, I saw about a drop of 65%. On Facebook, it was exactly the same. So, and we're talking about 100, just over the 100 mark on Facebook. So, just
Mm.
as a matter of comparison, I'll be doing a post about this, by the way, next week, and where I'll share the numbers, and I'll actually share the one or the other video that I used for it. So,
Yeah, you've
but
done
it was a
quite.
lot of work. It was a lot of work because there was no automation involved.
Yeah.
And it was basically, well, the message was, it's a standard text. I agree that the message was a standard text, and the video is a standard video, but I still had to do it for everybody. It took about, for each message, about 15 to 20 seconds before it got loaded up to LinkedIn and I was able to hit the send button.
Yeah, but we're always, or many times, we're counting the time and the effort put into it.
Mhm.
But shouldn't we count the results? I mean, if you have
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
to work for a minute to create a video,
Mhm.
perhaps even a personal video, and it
Mhm.
turns out that out of 20 videos, you get a response or deal or a positive feedback. It's the combination, Mick. And
Yeah.
talking about video, well, you published a post, I think, this morning about video. What types
Yep.
of video can you make?
Mhm.
So it's interesting video. What's
Yeah,
also interesting, Mick,
it's definitely.
is perhaps a thing to talk about is newsletters,
Yeah. Mhm.
because we jumped on the wagon. Is that the correct expression in English?
Yeah, yeah,
When they came out, and then everyone was in newsletters, and
yeah. Mhm.
then 50% fell off because they couldn't cope with well, putting the effort in
Correct.
and being consistent in posting every week, every 2 weeks, or whatever
Mhm.
they published.
Right.
Uh, where are we now with newsletters, Mick?
Well, I keep track of the invitations that I get from people on newsletters, and basically what I see is that people who invite me with for their newsletter, about 2/3 that publish a newsletter on a monthly or a weekly basis keep to that promise. So a third does not. When you look at the bi-weeklies, you end up around 55% that keep to that frequency. And when you look at the daily, well, only like 10% keep to the daily newsletter. There are very few daily newsletters around. There are some, but they're very far to look for. But
Hmm.
it is true that a lot of people start with one, and a lot of companies start with one, and give up, quite frequently, and it's the last thing on people's mind. I mean, I personally, I have the perfect content to do a monthly newsletter, which is my Belgian LinkedIn monitor, which is
Yeah.
actually stats every month, or a status of the stats every month, and that's a perfect example to use a newsletter. And then you drop some things in left and right, but um, I think what a lot of people started out doing is trying to get to their whole network with a newsletter, and then after they've done one, they do a second maybe, and then it kind of stops. That's what I'm kind of seeing though.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And
But it,
I'm
it
not a
takes.
good example for that also.
I mean, I've recently. I also do a LinkedIn audio or a LinkedIn video on Wednesday, and I've started recycling the content from that into a newsletter, and that's a weekly newsletter. And I must admit, it is a bit of a challenge to keep it up, though.
It
Even
is.
though,
It is. Yeah.
even though, because what I do is I have the video, I take the video, I cut the video into 3 pieces because there are 3 questions. I cut the video into 3 pieces, take some editing, put it in a newsletter. It all sounds very simple, but at the end of the day, you quickly lose an hour. You put in the captions and stuff like that. So I understand that if you try and do this weekly, it is a big challenge.
I just received a newsletter from Niraj Shah from Mumbai,
Okay.
and I know him because he was a BNI director, and he spoke at one of the events I participated in, and
Mhm.
he mentioned the LinkedIn newsletter is well, we all fight to get into the mailbox of our prospects,
Yep.
and most of those type of letters come into your spam box,
Mhm.
except the LinkedIn newsletter, because as soon as we click on them and well, we get an invitation to subscribe, but added to that, I see too many newsletters with a summary of all the events and activities they've done in the past quarter or months or so. So it's too much of too much. And I think our brains can't cope. Again, I believe the message should be simple, dedicated to one topic, and not to too many topics.
True.
So
But
your newsletter, Mick, the Belgium Monitor,
yeah,
is typically based on one topic.
Yep.
And if you're interested in receiving or getting well, being informed about that specific topic, then you
Mhm.
are a subscriber. So I think we should all choose well, one topic or a niche to talk about, and don't
Mhm.
talk about too many topics at one time.
Okay. Hold on a second. I think I'm going to get Roy on stage. And as soon as he's there, I'll see what happens. Roy, you should be on stage now. And if you want, you can open your mic and add your comment to it.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Of course we can, Roy.
Well, first of
All
all,
right.
the milestone of 100 sessions is absolutely incredible, and I honestly could not miss the opportunity to come up and congratulate the 2 of you. You're absolutely delightful 2 people, and your sessions through the years, I've followed them on Clubhouse, on LinkedIn Audios, and now on LinkedIn Live. So I've been an integral part of your process, and I wanted to compliment and congratulate you guys.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you.
Nice to have you with us, and likewise, we've listened to your sessions and shows, and it's always a delight to well, to participate and to discuss whatever topics we're talking about on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree with you, Guillaume, on the newsletter, but it's something I've seen some people abuse newsletters just to get into people's mailbox.
In what sense, Mick, abuse?
Well, abuse in the sense that they only publish 1 or maximum 2 issues, then stop, and then a few weeks later they start another newsletter, and stuff like that. It's just really strange what's happening. It's kind of like they want to, make everybody awake or get everybody woken up again. Yeah.
I'm not sure, Mick. I'm not sure. I think it's more of a case that people tend to try new stuff,
Okay.
the shiny blinking
Yep.
objects. So when LinkedIn Live came up, everyone wanted to have LinkedIn Live. when the carousel banner, the background image with 5 different images came on, everyone wanted to have that type of images on their profile. And there's a lot of people, it's like with well, I stopped smoking when I was about 32, but it took me some efforts. It's change is quite difficult for all of us. And some people can be very consistent, and other people just go with the flow and publish one post, and then you don't hear anything from them for the upcoming 3 months or so, and then they're back. We're all different people with all different type of communication styles. But yeah, I think in the end, consistency pays off.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, we all, at least if you want to play on LinkedIn, you have to play the long-term game and not the short-term game, I guess. I mean,
I mean, video, for example, Mick. Well, Roy, you're a great example because you have been publishing I don't know how many videos, and you're quite consistent. And I see your well, even if we never met, I can see you on that Bondi Beach or whatever beach you are in sunny Australia. Always jealous, but it's an image you created by publishing more than just one video. And it's the same for you, Mick. Some people, think it's very easy to create a video. Other people are terrified to put their face in front of their cameras. So it also depends on what type of communication style you like. And then I'm talking about small businesses. Bigger business, of course, you have professionals to create such videos. But even then, consistency in bigger companies. Let's talk about the engagement and impression on company page post, Mick. What do you think?
Well, I guess to me there are two challenges. Number one is a lot of the content that is posted on company pages is boring, is broadcast material as opposed to engagement material. So I think there is an issue with the type of content being distributed, and with that, it's also your employees or your advocates or your ambassadors or whatever you want to call them are not tempted to share that information. So your company page remains in the remained and the reach of your company page remains pretty low. In all honesty, and I believe this from the bottom of my heart, is that a post on a company page can be as successful organically and show up in people's home feed as a personal post. I mean, I don't think but the problem lies there. What kind of content is in there? I don't know what your thoughts are on this, Guy, but I see a lot of company pages in my home feed. Why? Because I like and comment on their posts.
So if you don't engage on those posts, you won't see them, right? And this was also Sebastian, who is a Dutch not LinkedIn trainer, but he's specialized in ads, LinkedIn ads. He published a post yesterday, and I think the same one last week, about engagement rates and impressions. And he investigated 3 of his clients. First one with 7,000 followers, one with 6,000 followers, and another one with 70,000 followers. Average impression were average 116, 275, and 2,672. And average engagement rate per update, between 20 and let's say 25.5%. And his impression, his thought on company page reach, that it went up big times. But the only reason for that he could think of, that it was shown to the real real fans, or
Yep.
how should I say, real ambassadors.
Yeah, exactly.
So most loyal fans, he mentioned.
Yep.
So it all depends on who your company page post is shown to.
True.
I wonder.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
Roy.
I wonder if I could maybe just ask, or maybe just put this out there. Is that I've got a company page, and the content that I share on there is not anything other than here are some branding and marketing insights and tips that I share based on my experience of being in the branding and marketing space for over 25, 30 years. So I don't use it as a sales platform, but it's for that purpose. But I had 2 milestones today that I couldn't help but share because of your 100th session.
Mhm.
Today I reached 3,000 LinkedIn company followers,
Well
and
done.
I had something today which
Not
is
true. That's not true, Roy. That's not true, Roy. 3001.
and 3001. You're quite right. Quite right. That actually. But the other most, the one other thing that I couldn't help myself but shared with you is that I've been featured in LinkedIn News Australia, which is it's a combination of their news, and I've been featured about 14 times. But today they shared one of my posts with their own comments about referring to my post. That's a first for me. So I couldn't help myself, sharing it on the day that you guys celebrate 100 sessions. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, great. Congratulations.
Great story, and congrats
Roy, we could.
on your milestone, Roy. Go ahead, Nick.
I know, I was going to say to Roy, we can ruin Roy's day by both disliking or unfollowing his page, and then he'll be at 2,999. Well, we're not going to do that.
What a nasty thing to do.
Well,
Nick.
actually,
Oh my God.
it sounds funny, but I saw a post from one of our colleagues, Wendy, in Holland, who actually said that she reached a milestone. It was like 1,000, whatever the number was. And then the moment she posted, the number went down by 1. And so she was back to the number 999, which is kind of funny. Sorry about that. I had to do this, right?
No, but you're right, Roy. Don't use your company page as a sales pitch, because people won't. They don't accept these kind of tricks anymore. You have to add value. That's the only way you can grow and reach your reach happy customers.
That is true. That is true. In the meantime, Roy has left us. He's back in the audience, I guess, or he's off drinking his evening drink, which is fine, obviously, because it's Friday evening for him. So great. Thank you, Roy, anyway, for joining us on the podium. I have one final question, Guy, for you. Are you ever looking at the impressions of your comments, and does this motivate you to comment more?
Yes, I do look at them sometimes.
Okay.
They don't motivate or dismotivate me. And again, I've mentioned this many times, Mick. I'm not so into these type of statistics of reach and impressions. Okay. I do believe that sticking to your original plan, commenting is my most used strategy for being visible on LinkedIn. And then I don't look at impression, because there are too many buttons you can turn that will influence those impressions. But they're not impressive, I must say.
No, that's my take on it. Is like you do a comment on a post by somebody, and then you kind of wait and see what happens. And I found that it's oftentimes a very low number, and I'm the few times I've looked at it is like you go like, and why am I doing this? This doesn't really give me much more visibility. However, that being said, it's the volume of the little things that actually make the fact that you're more visible. So I mean, we're doing it to help the community and not looking for the numbers. But it's interesting because you kind of get people then say, yeah, but I gave a comment and I only got 3 impressions. It's like, yeah, well, that's how the
but
game
Mick,
is played.
this is so much negative dopamine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the trick with well,
I agree.
social media, if you want to call it. If you look at these statistics, they go up and down. It's never that they always go
Oh,
up.
no. Definitely.
So be careful with looking at those type of statistics.
No, I agree. And the good thing about these statistics is there's no way to get them out. So there is no report that says you've had so many impressions because of your comments, or at least, at least not in that type of a form, that it's easily manageable. So I'm glad that LinkedIn is not investing into some kind of that, report at the end of the week or whatever.
Yeah.
Which then
I'd rather have our clients, because we discussed this. Well, we've discussed this many times, Mick. But and we get so many still very basic questions about LinkedIn visibility and how people will use LinkedIn. Even yesterday, this is a well-known entrepreneur here in the region, but still he hasn't got all stuff up notch and in order. So we get a lot of basic questions still about how to use LinkedIn, even after you've been on the platform for 19 years or so.
Well,
I've been on for
next
15.
week Friday it'll be 21 years.
Time flies, but people need to have their focus clear on who they want to reach, and when you've done that, if it adds value to that type of strategy, the rest will follow.
I think you're absolutely right. People need to have, they need to make clear in their mind, why are they on the platform? How does this support their goals, whichever the goals are, but how does it support? And, then you're actually going to make, you're going to put in the time and make use of the right features on LinkedIn, I think.
Yeah. And we can research all statistics, all algorithm reports, which I think is looking at the past. It's basically down to earth thinking, common sense. That will do the trick, and stick to your plan.
Yeah, definitely. I fully agree with you on that, Guy. That it's stick to your plan, stick to your target audience, and the numbers are there if you want them, but don't let the numbers drive you.
Yeah, and the plan is we'll be in Birmingham next March.
Yes, definitely.
So
9:30.
100 episodes.
Yes,
Mick.
Onwards to 101, and not Dalmatians, but episodes. Let's continue. Next week will be a session in Dutch again, and then in 2 weeks' time we should be back with an English version of our Let's Talk LinkedIn live audio.
Yeah, absolutely, Mick. A pleasure to have done this with you and to have achieved this 100th episode. Let's continue and let's talk in.
Yeah. Everybody who is tuning in today, thank you for tuning in and listening to us. If you have any questions or any topics you want us to handle in the near future, put them in the comments, and we'll make sure that during one of our next episodes, we'll address your questions. And have a wonderful and sunny weekend, and enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Guy, thank you for the confidence of these 100 episodes.
Speak soon, Mick.
All right.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.